Up to 85% of people with type 2 diabetes struggle with non-alcoholic fatty liver, which wreaks havoc on metabolism and can progress to serious liver disease. But it's important to know that it's an issue that's preventable and reversible. In this video, we're going to cover 3 ways to reverse fatty liver. Hey friends, welcome back to the Natural Diabetes Reversal channel. I'm Dr. Nicole Mahoney, and this is your go-to channel for all things related to diabetes and prediabetes and how to reverse them naturally. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest insights and tips. If you haven't watched my video on what causes fatty liver yet, I would actually encourage you to watch that video first to gain an understanding of how fatty liver develops and the 2 main culprits that cause it. With that background, you'll understand why these 3 strategies make the most sense. Ultimately, each of these strategies is aimed at 2 goals: getting rid of the excess glucose in the liver and normalizing insulin levels. The first strategy to reverse fatty liver is to reduce intake of sugar and refined carbohydrates. Diets that are high in sugars and refined carbs lead to elevated blood glucose and insulin levels, triggering the liver to convert excess glucose into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis, just a fancy term for fat production. These same high sugar and refined carb foods often contain high amounts of fructose, which through a different mechanism also triggers the production of fat in the liver. By cutting back on sugars and refined carbs, the necessity for this type of fat production diminishes, which helps prevent and reduce the accumulation of fat in the liver. Decreasing sugars and refined carbs reduces the amount of insulin the body needs and allows your insulin levels to return to normal, improving blood sugar regulation and signaling the liver to use the body's stored glucose when energy is needed. Additionally, cutting back on sugar and refined carbs improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and promotes weight loss, all crucial factors in reversing fatty liver disease. Instead of reaching for refined sugars and carbs, reach instead for quality protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates like vegetables, fruit, nuts, and legumes. Swap out sugar-sweetened beverages like soda and fruit juices with better options like sparkling water or sodas sweetened with stevia instead of sugar. If desserts are your weakness, I completely understand, which is why I created a video and a free resource for ways to enjoy desserts without all the processed sugar. I'll make sure to link to the video and resource below. The second strategy to reverse fatty liver is with fasting. During periods of fasting, the body's able to tap into fat stores as a source of energy, which reduces accumulated liver fat. There are several ways to incorporate fasting, but 2 examples include alternate day fasting and time-restricted feeding. With the alternate day fasting method, fasting days and non-fasting days alternate every other day. On fasting days, food is reduced to 25% of energy needs, so that might look like eating 600 calories that day. And on non-fasting days, food is consumed until appetite is satisfied. There's no restriction. Time-restricted feeding is another method, and the one I personally prefer. Time-restricted feeding involves restricting the daily window of food intake to a specific time frame. Typically, people designate a set period, such as an 8 to 10 hour eating window, within which they eat all their meals. And then they avoid eating during the remaining hours, which often includes an overnight fasting period. This method can align with the body's natural circadian rhythms, and although I'm not discouraging other methods, I think this strategy is also easier to adhere to. An example of this would be to start with a 12-hour eating window and 12-hour fasting window. So finish dinner by 7 p.m. and wait until 7 a.m. to eat breakfast. And then when that feels comfortable, increase the fasting window if needed. The third way to reverse fatty liver is with exercise. Exercise helps break down fats in the liver, reduces new liver fat production, and helps burn off excess glucose in the blood. It also helps lower and normalize insulin levels and lowers inflammation. This is just more proof of how great exercise is for overall health. It can prevent fatty liver from developing and can help reverse it. This doesn't have to be a complicated process either. It can be as simple as incorporating walking into the daily routine. Just 10 minutes of light intensity walking after meals significantly improves blood sugar regulation and lowers insulin. And for those that are ready to crank it up, strength training is an excellent mode of exercise as well because muscle mass improves blood sugar regulation. Beyond these 3 strategies, it's important to start taking actions to stabilize blood glucose levels. Stabilizing blood sugar is the key to preventing things like fatty liver and insulin resistance. It's so important that I'm doing a diabetes nutrition workshop, which you can learn about here, where I'll guide you through 5 straightforward nutrition steps to master blood sugar control. And these aren't just theories. I'll provide you with practical, actionable steps that can be implemented right away to gain better blood sugar control and prevent these conditions from developing, or begin the process of reversing insulin resistance, fatty liver, and type 2 diabetes. I'll make sure to link to the workshop below as well. But I hope you found this video helpful. If it spurred any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in, friends. I'll see you next time.